awarded to an SHPA member in recognition of outstanding recent contribution and exemplary effort in hospital pharmacy practice. This year's recipient has been recognised for his pursuit of the advancement of hospital pharmacy and healthcare informatics. In a nice throwback to this very event 18 years ago, our recipient says, "A key moment for me was when Medicines Management 2001, when I won a Best Paper Award. That's when it all came together and I realised I had a real passion for this profession." And I add, this was an intern and a member of the conference steering committee. In an entertaining reference, Tasmania's Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Michael Pavan notes his boundless energy, eclectic mind, robust intellect and deep commitment to improving patient care. Improving hospital pharmacy in Tasmania is absolutely his passion, and the result of his passion is a legacy of greatly improved care and access to hospital pharmacy services. It is my great pleasure and absolute joy to announce that today the recipient of the 2019 SHPA Medal of Merit is Tom Simpson.
Peter did say he was going to bend down a little for the photograph. So thank you, Peter, and thank you to the Society for bestowing this great honour upon me. And thank you all for being here today. And I'd like to thank in the audience my family who've came to be here. My children, Jack and Evelyn, sort of the sparkiest sparks you'll ever meet. My sister Jess, my stepdad Pete, and my mum Kate. Because even when you're a 42-year-old man, you still want to make your mum proud. My team and I continually strive to provide Tasmanian hospital patients with the best pharmacy service and the highest level of medication safety as they might find anywhere in the country. And over the last several years we've been rolling out the Tasmanian Statewide Pharmacy Roadmap, a program of work that includes extending clinical services, SHPA Clinicat statewide, outpatient clinic roles, SHPA residency, pharmacy educators, a multidisciplinary safe medication practice unit, the expansion of our telepharmacy service into our rural hospitals, partnered charting, smart pumps and ward technicians. It's been fun. And I've been so lucky to assemble a team of people around me who've shared that objective and shared the drive to achieve it. And I can spend the next hour thanking all of those who've contributed, but I would like to acknowledge a few in particular who are here today. Camille Boland. Camille's contribution to clinical pharmacy in Tasmania, as well as nationally through the development of the national standard of practice, cannot be underestimated. Duncan McKenzie, our Deputy Conference Convener. Duncan is one of the most naturally gifted leaders and clinicians you can imagine, and Duncan has been integral to everything we've achieved. Duncan, I can't thank you enough. Lisa Dottore, our Pharmacy Operations Manager who just gets shit done. Kelly Beswick, whose natural gift for managing people I'm in awe of. And Amber Roberts, who I worked with in partnership for most of the last decade. I've attended every Medal of Merit oration, nearly everyone, since my intern year in 2001, and I've seen the remarkable people who've received this award, and I've been in awe of their intellect and contribution. People like Michael Dooley, Naomi Burgess and Kate Richardson and all the others. These are people who fundamentally changed the practice of pharmacy in Australia. I don't think I can tell you anything, really, that those people can't tell you 10 times more eloquently. If you want to hear about the importance of extending pharmacy practice, listen to those guys. That's what I did. Their ideas have been the foundation of all the work that I've undertaken in Tasmania. What I hope I share with those previous recipients of this award is the inability to accept the status quo as being good enough. We have a passion for improvement and a conviction that medication safety and pharmacy practice are important and worthy of dedicating a career to. For me, it wasn't always this way. When I graduated from uni, I wondered what on earth I'd done. I had no interest in being a pharmacist, let alone any passion or conviction for the profession, or anything much at all, really. I was sitting in a hall like this at my first national conference, 2001. The idea back then that I would find myself as someone who would contribute to pharmacy practice, let alone receive the Medal of Merit, was unthinkable. Clearly, between then and now, something changed. So what I'd like to talk about today is the advice that I would give myself back then in 2001, that I wish I could have learnt more quickly and less painfully. Because it's probable that the 2036 Medal of Merit recipient is in the audience today, and damn it, I'm going to be the one who inspires them. So here are the 5 lessons for me when I was 18 years younger. Lesson 1 was to get involved. One of the single most transformative lessons that I've learned is the value of getting involved in something that's bigger than your individual practice. Getting involved in SHPA sweeps you along in this current of passion and innovation from across the country. And this was particularly spurred at that 2001 National Conference, which Peter convened and which I attended as an intern. I met Peter for the first time during the organising of that conference. I can confidently say I don't think either of us could have predicted where we would now be 18 years later. At the 2001 conference, I got to meet these amazing people from across the country. I got introduced to inspirational people like Daniel Stovasser, and all these people who'd otherwise just be author names in the JPPR. I heard for the first time Ian Coombs' repertoire of drinking songs, but definitely not the last. Apparently he once knew a girl from Chicago. The Purple Pen podcast guys thankfully stole some of my wind, which has saved you a lot of time in this speech. They've got this great selfie challenge, which I encourage absolutely everyone to participate in, because it is the best way to get the most out of conferences like this. As Peter alluded to, I won a Best Presented Paper prize that year, and for the first time in my pharmacy career, I had something I could be really proud of, and I also felt part of a wider community. After that conference, I really threw myself into not just my work, but into SHPA. I got elected to State Branch Committee the next year, and I've stayed there for all but 3 years since. I convened the next 2 State Branch Symposia, as well as the 2011 National Conference, along with Amber Roberts. So being involved in these things has given me a network of friends and colleagues, and regular exposure to new ideas, and it's given me the inspiration I needed to continue advancing pharmacy in Tasmania. My second lesson for my 18-year young self is to follow opportunity even if it takes you out of your comfort zone. Since I registered as a pharmacist, I've spent 2/3 of my career in pharmacy, but I've also weaved in and out. And it's the development opportunities in the other third that have kind of made my pharmacy career possible. I worked as an e-health pharmacist at the RHH for a couple of years, and I was approached then by the hospital's deputy CEO to take over as the e-health director for the hospital. When you're tapped on the shoulder to do something bigger and better, you're meant to say yes, but I hadn't learned that lesson yet. The Deputy CEO, Andrew George Gamlin, was a man with a fierce reputation. He was feared. He was literally called the towcart, that's what they called him. And he was spoken of in these hushed tones as someone who could end your career. Even the doctors were afraid of him. So whilst it sounded like a great opportunity, it also sounded scary. I didn't think I could work with someone like that, so I made an appointment with him to tell him my answer, and I nerved myself up to tell him. He said, so you're going to do it? And I said, sorry, but the answer's no. And he fixed me with a hard stare and said, why don't you think about that until you've made the right decision? And he was right, and it turned out to be a great opportunity. I took the role on, I got experiences I could have never otherwise had. And Andrew turned out to be a kind manager and a generous mentor. And I got to see all the moving parts of the hospital, from the kitchen through to the cath lab. I got to see pharmacy as an outsider, just like our colleagues and our executives see us. Later on in my career, I got the chance to work on hospital executive in a strategic planning role. And I got to be involved in things like the negotiations around ABF funding, planning for new facilities. One of the fun ones was the business case for Tasmania to have a PET scanner. CEO just came to me one day and said, do you reckon you could do a cabinet submission for a PET scanner? I keep asking the radiologists and they keep saying, we just need one. And I keep saying, that's not a business case. They stare blankly back. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll give it a bash. Didn't, and we got one. So these opportunities have all led to great experiences, and it's their intersection with pharmacy that I think has made me a better pharmacy leader and practitioner. My third lesson is that mentors make or break a career. I have been so lucky to have had the mentors that I've had. Without exception, they've been generous leaders who actively wanted to share the knowledge that they've accumulated. I've already mentioned Andrew George Gamlin, from whom I learned how the business of hospitals run. My first director of pharmacy was also someone who mentored me. I was lucky enough that they were willing to look past the brash, loudmouth oddball that I was back then and see the promise and skill in me that was worth nurturing. I'd start the day by routinely walking into their office and just say, "So what are you doing today?" Now as a manager myself, I actually love it when early career pharmacists do the same. Now as a manager, I also reflect on the need to look past the occasional brash, irritating, arrogant pharmacy student or intern and see the other potential that lies beneath, even if they are a pain in the ass. I was also lucky enough to be mentored by Michael Pavan, who was CEO of the Royal Hobart Hospital and Secretary of Health for a number of years. Michael was an amazing man. He was personal friends with the inventors of medication safety, Lucian Leap and David Bates. Michael mentored me not just in how hospitals work, but in how to hold leadership positions in them whilst being a good person. He taught me that your staff can't care for patients if they don't feel cared for themselves. A few months ago I shared on Facebook a list that I'd stolen from somewhere of 10 things that you can do to be good at your job that don't just come down to technical ability. And they were things like turning up on time, work ethic, attitude, doing extra, all the usual stuff. Michael Pavan, Secretary for Health, saw the post and added 3 things of his own: being kind, being courteous and civil, being respectful. His list was better than mine. So I've been so fortunate to have these people as mentors, and I'd like to absolutely commend the SHPA for the development of their mentor program. My 4th lesson is that it's not always easy or rewarding. I've kind of tossed up whether to include this one or not. But there is a temptation when you're talking about your career to just talk about the highlights and to kind of trick others into thinking that it's continually rewarding, or that despite the challenge, the outcome's always worth it. But I want to be honest and say that's not always true. I've had more knockbacks than I've had pats on the back. Sometimes it gets you down, sometimes the work leads nowhere, sometimes good work is blocked because other people have more power. Sometimes it's our own fault because the work isn't good enough. And not everyone we encounter will be kind and nurturing. There are bullies. I always thought a management position would kind of shield you somewhat from bullies, but it actually doubles the directions in which they can come. But you survive it all, play some Xbox, find a bosom for a pillow, and keep on going. Personal motto. I had a really moving experience a few months ago. One of the clinical pharmacists from the team just popped into my office and said, "You don't seem your usual self today, is everything okay?" And as it happens, it was actually a pretty rubbish day, but I really appreciated that just someone from the team noticed. I think the best thing we can do is to look after yourself, look after your team, and build a team of people around you who will also look after you when things aren't going well. My 5th and final lesson that I'd like to talk about today is to build the best partnerships you can in life. There is great joy in working in a team of people who are smarter than you are. They bring new ideas and they improve your own. And I've already mentioned many of the people whom I'm lucky enough to work with. My team is comprised of people that I respect and look up to. I get to work with my best friends. Working in partnership is the only way to work well. One of the most fortunate partnerships also came about in 2001 when at the Royal Hobart I started sharing an office with Catherine Drake, who's a pharmacist there. We were working in different areas, but we had this great working relationship. And Catherine was this amazingly knowledgeable person, very driven, and enjoyed putting her hands up for things that were complicated. She was heavily involved in SHPA, she was our federal counsellor for a number of years. And Catherine was kind of ambitious on my behalf. She could see I had skills I wasn't using, and she pushed me on. This external ambition on my behalf was more of a driver than my own ambition at that point in my career. And Catherine has been an enormously influential driver on my development as a practitioner and as a person since then. We've been married for 15 years now, and this continues to be very true. I talk through all my work with her. There isn't a project or initiative that I've ever worked on that hasn't been improved through Catherine's involvement and advice. No worthwhile achievements happen in work without sacrifice at home. And my work can be all-consuming, and it sees me on the road a lot. And Catherine sacrifices my time at home, as well as her own ambitions, in order to allow me to do this. And I'm extremely grateful for this. But Catherine's role in my story isn't just as a passive person whose contribution is to make a sacrifice to allow me to have a career. It's been a partnership of ideas and support, and I want to acknowledge the contribution that she has made both to my work and to Tasmanian Hospital Pharmacy. Whoever you partner with in life and whatever their field of work, I hope you find someone who enriches, teaches, supports you and makes you happy. It's been the most important thing that's happened to me. So there you have it. Those are the 5 lessons that I've learnt that have taken me from aimless loser to passionately engaged. Get involved, take opportunities and get out of your comfort zone. Find the best mentors. It's not always going to go your way, and partner with people that you admire and adore. Thank you all for listening, and thank you once again to the Society for this.